Ili kupata Warumi 8 kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811*815#.
Nina hakika kwamba hakuna kinachoweza kukutenga na upendo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Si kifo, si malaika, si vitu tulivyokuwa navyo au tutakavyokuwa navyo, si mamlaka au chochote kitakachoumbwa. Warumi 8:38 hadi 39.
Kupata Warumi 8, bonyeza *811*815#. *811*815#.
And I'm never coming back again. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving you. I never wanna see you again. I'm sorry.
The highest mountaintop just to reach you, girl. I walk the longest road, no matter how far I go. L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. Oh yes, I L-O-V-E-Y-O.
Hii ni menu mamaji, unaona ni menu.
Ikatai ni menu. Nani aliandika hii?
Ni mimi.
Okari! Oh my God, ameandika chapati badala ya chapati.
Hii siasa mnaongea si mzuri. It is very unhealthy kuongea siasa hiyo ya kubishana, ukane kama mnachukiana. Uchaguzi anakujanga naye anaenda.
Kitu nilikuwa nataka kukuuliza. Kuna vile unaweza nisaidia, nilikuwa nataka mkokoteni.
Mimi ndio nakuanga mkokoteni solution.
Unataka ikiwa void ya kukatakatiwa kachumbari, ama unataka iwe scrambled, ama iwe Spanish omelette.
It is indeed the 11th day of April 2022. Good afternoon. This is KBC Lunchtime News. Glad you could make the time. We have a comprehensive news bulletin lined up here for you. My name is Njue, and Susan will be our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. And of course, you can be part of this conversation via our social media platforms as we are live. Now, straight to the news. All the 1.2 million Kenya Certificate of Primary Education candidates who sat for Class 8 examinations have been placed in secondary schools. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says 38,797 KCPE candidates have been selected to join national schools, while 240,960 have been placed in extra county schools, while 258,456 will be enrolled in county schools. Beg your pardon. Magoha says the selection process was based on merit, choice and equity, even as it emerged that Nanyuki, Kabianga and Pangani Girls High School recorded the highest number of students wanting to join the institutions.
In the selection, we have strictly applied the principles of merit, choice, and equity in placing candidates to each school category. And I would want to say that we have still refused to be reasonable. Just like everybody wants to go to Kenya High School, Alliance, and Pangani, in advising their children, they still also advise the children to make exactly the same mistake. And that is going to be a matter that the education field officers, together with the teachers, must take action upon, together with the parents. In this year's selection, just like last year, we have applied affirmative action provision by opening opportunities for a number of school children from the slums. The candidates were placed first through by guaranteeing them their first choice in national schools. Through this, we managed to get 567 learners to their first choice in national schools. A further intervention was done by giving an additional 321 places in the national and extra-county schools.
To some politics now, Orange Democratic Movement ODM is facing a backlash in Mombasa County for conducting primaries which were marred with irregularities over the weekend. They have questioned the authenticity of the polls and are demanding that the primaries be repeated.
The Orange Democratic Movement is on the spot over the conduct of its primaries in parts of the country. In Mombasa, a section of aspirants are demanding the repeat of the exercise.
Sisi tulipika kura na Hosana alipita. Hata sijui kwa nini tunasema iregerewe. Hosana apewe certificate. Yes. Kama hakuna certificate. Yes. Kama hakuna certificate. Wacha niseme hivi. Hii nyumba imetusumbua sana.
National Elections Board, you will not joke with us this time round. Yes. We as Chan residents, we want to address you, yes, specifically you as NEB, that it is either you give us our right, it is either you give the leadership that we deserve, or we choose the path that we will go.
Some aspirants are accusing the party of dishing out nomination tickets in complete disregard of the party supporters. The ODM party is holding primaries in Busia County, in which former Funyula MP Paul Otuoma and Busia woman Rep Florence Mutua are vying for governor. Meanwhile, Mount Kenya East leaders allied with the Devolution Empowerment Party have urged area residents to vet county leadership wisely in order to enjoy the fruits of devolution. The party chairman Lenny Kivuti asked residents to vote leaders on their capabilities and not party affiliations, saying that some were hanging on to big names but had nothing to offer the electorate.
We have to advise our people that there is national politics and there is local politics. If they choose leaders who are not credible locally, they will still suffer. Because we need credibility at all levels, at national level and at local level.
Elsewhere, Emurua Dikir MP Johanna Ngeno and Joel Tasur, who is seeking the UDA ticket for the Kilgoris parliamentary seat, are alleging of a plot by some powerful individuals.
Na hii nomination can give Azimio a very, very good advantage kama wananchi hawatapewa nafasi ya kupiga kura. Kama wananchi hawatahesabiwa kura yao ya ukweli. Because I am reading the moods and feelings of my supporters and they are ready for anything.
We are approaching a nomination, the countrywide nomination, UDA nomination. As in Emurua Dikir, we are prepared and we are waiting for the day eagerly. And apart from a few challenges here and there,
to influence elections in favor of their opponents.
And from politics, let's now cross over to the KICC, where the GTAP party is conducting, actually it's giving out part of its nomination certificates today, and the function is currently underway. Let's first of all listen in. The party leader, Dr. Kalua, is currently addressing them.
We can be able to put forward that is going to change our nation. The relationship between the politician and the business person and the church person should be one. Looking forward to impact lives, to create job opportunities, to change souls of people, to make sure that the spiritual institution and therefore the relationship be so symbiotic that nobody should doubt what you stand for. The third pillar, which is equally important, is one pillar that looks forward to have a dignified household. How are we going to have the 12.1 plus households in this country dignified when we have people who do not have food on their table? When we have people, like I went yesterday and found at a place that is so insecure, attacked by other people, they do not have phone network, where you do not have water. How are you going to be a dignified family and a household when you cannot put food on your table? How are you going to be a dignified household and leading one as an aspirant when you cannot even offer job or even educate your children, deal with medical issues in a manner that our lives can have hope? How? You stand in as aspirants to come and change the nation. And it is important that you work with like-minded people. People who are going to show you direction out of the experience they have. People who are going to help you because of the talent that they have. Even if you chose to work with musicians in this country, they have a powerful message that can be able to deliver what you're saying. And musicians deliver their message in 3 minutes. A pastor or a preacher man will deliver in 45 minutes. A politician will deliver in 2 years before your agenda is known. And God has put us together so that we can be able to be the change. And therefore, symbiotic kind of relationship is what I request that you be there. You are so important as MCAs. You are so important as every aspirant that is here today, the governor aspirants, the Senate aspirants, the members of parliament, women representatives, the MCA, each one of you is so important. And I want you to look at what the party stands for, with the 3 pillars, with the agenda that has been made so easy. Today we have many people, thousands, who are following our discussion today in Kenya and beyond. There is no need of working with the kind of rallies that we see in our country, where people are ferried by buses, where people are paid to come and attend to listen to what has been already discussed, that this is what we want to do. Making and exciting people in one rally, and then you leave them impoverished for the next 5 years. What is the value? It does not matter that you will not win if you don't. And my prayer is that we all win, those who are standing here. But it matters that the party will keep standing beyond the elections. We must have a policy-driven, a party that is different from every other institution, working together with like-minded people, because the people you see as enemies today in politics, tomorrow you will find them dining and eating and hugging each other in a way that is different. Haven't we seen this in the nation? So why get lost in this? Your friends will continue to be your friends. Don't allow them to drag you down in a situation that is not going to be the place where you want to get into. Focus on your people. Focus with your family first. Focus with your household. And then start impacting the next household that is near you. That is what is going to make the difference. The party's offices across the country, we want to create them in a manner that no other political party has done. And I say this to the world so that other political parties can be able to look at this. We cannot operate on an island ourselves. We must work with others. We want every political office that is there to become a unit of raising sustainability to the people about that place. I am looking forward to go to Narok, even if not anything else where we have an office, just to go and climb and just see what is happening in Mau, so that we can be able to internalize the problems of those people and organize a cycling event that is around that activity, just to see around and understand the issues of Kenya. I am looking forward to go to Bomet, where I can go and see and understand how to pick the tea and we train our people to understand what problems go around there. Why not use machines and not people? How do you replace these people to be able to get to this? Understand why the importance of milk is there. How can we add value on a simple...
That has been the party leader, Green Thinking Action Party, GTAP, if you like, Dr. Isaac Kalua, who is talking about GTAP party nominations. I've been able to pick out 2 or 3 things that the leader has talked about. He's talking about leaders should change the nation, working closely with like-minded people. They're talking about the party being guided by 3 pillars and policy-driven ideologies in the run-up to the 2022 succession politics. Of course, we will be having a much detailed coverage of that report and plus other nominations during the day, during our news, and of course in our main news at 7 and 9. And talking about party nominations, let's now cross over to Busia and see how the ODM party nominations are going on. We have our very own Simon Achola, who is on standby to give us the same.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Ben, Troy, Njue. We are indeed in Busia County, and we are focusing on ODM party primaries that are going on as we speak. And as I speak to you right now, I'm actually at Butula Boys Primary School, one of the polling center here in Butula constituency, one of the 7 sub-counties in Busia County. The county has a total of 365 registered voters, but of course that is important for the general election. However, today ODM party members will be picking their flag bearer in the coming general poll, and of course they'll be picking their flag bearers from the MCAs to the MPs, the women rep, senator, and of course ultimately the governor, the chief executive officer, who will be running this county for the next 5 years. Ben, what I would tell you is that this process has not been devoid of challenges since morning. In some polling stations, what we have witnessed is that the kids have not been working in some stations, and we also have witnessed in some stations kids arriving very late. For instance, in one of the polling stations that is in Kanjala, that is in Marach Ward, the kids arrived at around midday. That means that the locals there were actually supposed to begin casting their vote at around midday. But by the time we are leaving that center, what I can assure you, Ben, is that the voting exercise had not begun, simply because there was some confusion in terms of the name of that place. In Busia, we have a place called Ganjala and we have another place called Kanjala. And that confusion, of course, ensured that the kids that were meant for Kanjala were actually transported to Ganjala, and the kids that were actually meant to come to Ganjala had actually been transported to Ganjala. That in itself meant that nothing would have actually happened at that place. And as I speak to you right now, the voting exercise has not actually begun at that place. Now, that brings into question of exactly what is going to happen at that particular polling station and very many other polling stations across the county that have actually experienced those challenges. Now, we are told that that polling stations across the county were actually opened at around 6 a.m. and they expected that party members would start casting their votes at around 7 a.m. in the morning up until 6 today in the evening. But as I speak to you, Troy, in some of those polling stations, the exercise is yet to kick off. So that, of course, bringing into question of exactly if indeed those polling stations will continue to open beyond 6 p.m. this evening, or what will exactly happen. We sought the views of the presiding officers who are actually involved in the running of those polls in those particular polling stations, and what they told us that as we speak now, they are yet to get communication from the head office if indeed they will be extending the voting time or they will be closing the polling stations at 6 p.m. as had been communicated earlier on. I also just want to bring to your attention that, of course, the candidates that are actually, one of the seats that are actually been hotly contested for is a seat of the governor, and we have the former Minister for Sports and, of course, the former Minister for Fisheries, Paul Otoma, going it out with the current women rep for Busia, that is Florence Mutua, and, of course, we are looking keenly at what exactly will be happening between those two. Remember, this is predominantly an ODM county, and what happens in the party primaries will have a bigger effect on what exactly will be happening in the subsequent general election. But nonetheless, Troy, I will be talking to a number of locals who've actually come here, so then they can actually give us what they actually feel in terms of how the exercise has actually been run since morning and how it's going, and of course, if they are content with how the issues are happening. One of the locals who's actually come here is standing right here, and she'll just actually tell us exactly what is happening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Kindly tell us what time you arrived here. First and foremost, tell us your name and tell us at what time you arrived here, and so far how you are actually seeing the exercise going on.
Okay, I'm Silvio Ade, mwananchi wa hapa Butula. Na mimi nimekuwa hapa kuanzia saa 1 za asubuhi, na tumeona na nimeshuhudia kuwa tumepewa ruhusa ya kuja kuchagua viongozi wetu ambao tunawachagua kwa mapenzi ya roho yetu. Na unavyoona katika uwanja huu wa Butula Boys Primary kuna idadi ya karibu watu 800 ambao walifika kuanzia asubuhi na wanaendelea kwa shughuli za kupiga kura ambazo
hadi sasa. Silvia, hebu nieleze, umeona hii shughuli imeenda vipi? Imeenda kulingana na matarajio yako? Imeenda vizuri ama imekuwa na matatizo kadha wa kadha?
Hakuna matatizo ambayo nimeshuhudia kwa macho yangu kuanzia asubuhi. Nimefika hapa, wananchi walifika mapema na wamekuwa kwa shughuli za kupanga laini, kupiga kura na wanatoka. Hakuna fujo ambayo nimeshuhudia kwa macho yangu kufikia sasa.
Tuna watu ni wengi sana katika mstari, katika mlolongo huu wa kupiga kura. Pengine nini kingefanyika kwa maoni yako ili kuhakikisha kwamba pengine huu msururu unaweza kutembea kwa haraka?
Kulingana na mimi ninavyoona, mikakati yote iliwekwa vizuri. Msururu unaendelea watu wanaendelea kupiga kura wakitoka, na hivyo ndo tulikuwa tunaomba ili kura tuipeleke haraka, tupige kura haraka tumalize.
Asante sana Sylvia. Of course, that is one of the locals here telling us of exactly what she feels of this particular exercise. Mzee, namna gani?
Niko sawa kabisa.
Umefika hapa mapema sana. Tueleze shughuli hii inaendelea vipi?
Nimefika, shughuli imeenda sawa, lakini kitu ilikuwa na shida kidogo, ilikuwa kuangalia register majina. Lakini tukaingilia, tukajaribu kurekebisha, na wale makarani wako na register wamejaribu tukuharakishia, lakini shughuli inaenda sawa.
Kando na hiyo register ambayo umesema, hiyo sajili ya wapiga kura, umesema mambo yote yameenda shwari kabisa?
Mambo yote imeenda shwari, lakini hii furugu naona kidogo ni vijana, lakini tumejaribu kutulisha.
Vurugu ilikuwa juu ya nini?
Vurugu ilikuwa tu juu ya wapinzani wawili, ya Tito na Suka. Watu wanatoka kijiji kimoja, ndio wanafurugana kwa sababu wao watu opponent wakati walikuwa wanapiga campaign walikuwa na lai kwa hiyo vijiji. Ndio vijana sasa wanaonelea kunyang'anyana watu kuleta kupiga kura.
Shukran sana. Of course, that is one of the locals actually giving us his perspective of exactly what is happening here at Butula Primary School, one of the polling centers here in Butula constituency in Busia County. Troy, one other thing that I would actually just want to put it to you is the fact that unlike IBC procedure, where we have various voters actually lining up as per their alphabetical order, here it is free for all, and we're just having one line that is actually heading into the polling center. That in itself, of course, has occasioned this snarl up that you're actually seeing here. And of course, this is an exercise that we will be keeping a keen eye to ensure that indeed we bring you first-hand information of exactly what is happening here in Busia County. From the information that we've actually gathered from the officers involved in this exercise, we are expecting that probably at around 9 or thereabout, we'll be able to give you final results of exactly what would have happened here in Busia County in terms of who will be representing ODM party on which ticket and for which seat and on ODM ticket. Back to you, Ben Troy Njue.
Let you go, if you can hear me. The last person you've interviewed has talked about cases of violence. Have you witnessed or confirmed any cases of lawlessness? The nomination but various parties the whole of this week until all parties have done their nominations. We're going to keep our eyes peeled for that report. But he was in Butula, in Busia County, of course, somewhere to keep our eyes locked in. Over 365,000 registered voters, talking about some kits are not working, and in some polling stations the kits arrived as late as midday today. Of course, he will be furnishing us with a much detailed report in our subsequent bulletin. But still on matters polls, residents of Isiolo County have been sensitized to be on the lookout and report cases of electro-gender-based violence that have been witnessed in various or in the previous election periods among communities living in the county.
Officers from Peace Corps, in collaboration with those from Isiolo Peace Link, assured residents that operations in the Joint Operations and Command Center established in 2017 prior to the general election will resume ahead of the August polls.
Kuhamasisha umma kuhusu Joint Operation and Command Center ambayo inahusika na mambo ya early warning and early response center and women's situation room.
According to Inspector James Mutabari, the officer in charge of Isiolo Peace Corps, women leaders at the grassroots level will be engaged and work closely with the police to ensure that there is awareness at village levels on the presence of the center and its operations in curbing gender-based violence during electioneering.
Leo kuna maswala ambayo yameibuka ambayo yamekuwa yakifanyika kwa uchaguzi ambazo zimekuwa zikipita, na ninashukuru sana kwa wale ile information ambayo tumeweza kupata leo, na tunaenda kushughulikia ndio ile uchaguzi nao kuja wa 2022, na baada ya uchaguzi tuwe na uchaguzi wa amani.
The Joint Command Center hopes to be of great value in averting violence against women and children who are the most vulnerable in the community. Trevor Ngendo, Lunchtime News.
All right, there you have it at about 27 minutes past the hour. That report on matters polls takes us to our first break, but allow me to just appreciate Mark the Prince. You say good afternoon and you're following. We also have Famin Koech tuned in from Lokicha, Kenya, Africa. Nice, clear views, enjoying. And Giddy Grealish, you say you are also tuned in. Let's have that break, and then we'll be back with more news.
So wakati COVID iliingia hivi, mi hata hapo stress zote zilianza. Ndio sasa ile laping ilianza, juu hata vijana wako mtaa.
Riski kubwa ilikuwa huyu hajielewi huyu mtoto, na wengine bado unaona age yao hawawezi tulia vyenye natulianga kwa nyumba.
Kama mtoto anaweza dhulumiwa, jinsi wanaweza chukua hatua ni kwa sababu wengine hata wajui.
I link the community with the justice system. I also create awareness on the referral pathway.
The
legendary run to Olympia Stadion in Berlin is now less crowded, with only 4 teams out of 64 still in contention. Something more outstanding is that all of the sides to have won the DFB Pokal over the last 29 years are already out this year.
And Leverkusen are knocked out by a Bundesliga 2 side.
In the first DFB Pokal semi-final, Hamburger SV will face Freiburg on Tuesday, the 19th of April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. While in the second semi-final, RB Leipzig will lock horns with Union Berlin on Wednesday, the 20th April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. Having braced the turbulent journey and buoyed up with the trophy in sight, no team want to go down without a fight. You don't want to miss this adventurous football show, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Hii ni menu mamachi, unaona ni menu.
Ikatai ni menu. Nani aliandika hii?
Ni mimi.
Okari! Oh my God, ameandika chapati badala ya chapati.
Hii siasa mnaongea si mzuri. It is very unhealthy kuongea siasa hiyo ya kubishana, ukane kama mnachukiana. Uchaguzi anakujanga naye anaenda.
Kitu nilikuwa nataka kukuuliza. Kuna vile unaweza nisaidia, nilikuwa nataka mkokoteni.
Mimi ndio nakuanga mkokoteni solution.
Unataka ikiwa void ya kukatakatiwa kachumbari, ama unataka iwe scrambled, ama iwe Spanish omelette.
Thank you so much for keeping it KBC Lunchtime News. And now to something to look forward to. The Bible Society of Kenya says it will translate the Holy Bible into all native languages in the country by the year 2030. Speaking during the launch of the Kuria Bible at Kehancha in Migori County, the Bible Society of Kenya General Secretary Elizabeth Wanjiru said 35 million shillings has been set aside to facilitate the process.
The Abakuria community is the latest to unveil a Bible in its native language. Bible Society of Kenya General Secretary Elizabeth Wanjiru says the launch of the Kuria Bible will spur a wave of social change in the community.
This Bible has taken a very long journey. It has been over 39 years since the work of this Bible started, with the New Testament having been launched in the year 1996. After that, the work of the Old Testament started.
She revealed that their main objective is to translate the Holy Bible into all native languages by 2030.
The Society of Kenya has 3 translation projects that are going on. That is the Banyala, the Teso, and Mwibi Mudambi.
A total of 35 million shillings has been set aside to facilitate the process.
Translation work is work that is very, very costly. We say that to translate one verse of the Bible costs 1,000 shillings, and the Bible has of.
The translation work will help the Abakuria community who are spread in both Kenya and Tanzania preserve their language. Besides the advancement of religion, the Kuria Bible is expected to bring to an end retrogressive cultural practices. The Kuria community now joins other communities like Sengwero of Rift Valley, which unveiled the first ever translated section of English Bible to its native language a fortnight ago. Timothy Kipnoso for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, a section of residents in Naivasha have expressed concern over the rising cases of drug abuse, child labor and early marriages. They say the vices are rampant, especially in informal settlements, leading to a surge in school dropouts. They have urged the government to establish a drug abuse rehabilitation center in the area.
Dhirika katika mambo ya madawa za kulevya na pia katika mambo ya ulevi na mambo za ndoa za mapema na mimba za mapema.
Juzi tulikuwa na kesi ya mtoto fulani ni wa shule ya upili. In fact baby ECD amekatalia bangi kwa mkono kwa sababu kuna mwenye ametumwa kwake aende ampatie. So wakati alifika na mwalimu anamuuliza umeshika nini, anasema kitu yangu. Hii ni kitu yangu, na anakatalia kabisa. Mpaka wakati alichapwa ndio ile bangi ilipatikana ameshika kwa mkono, lakini ameelekezwa na mtu mzima pale kwa gate.
Na hakika kila mmoja anajua hii ni changamoto na janga la kitaifa, na tukikumbuka kwamba vijana ndio asilimia kubwa katika taifa letu. Sasa tumefanya uamuzi kama watumishi wa Mungu kuwaleta pamoja ili tuweze kuwapa mafundisho, maana hawa ndio jamii tunayotegemea.
A section of integrated internally displaced persons living in Nyandarua County are calling on the government to fast-track the process of compensating them. According to their coordinator, James Mwaura, the government has set aside 6 billion shillings for the resettlement of victims of 2007-2008 post-election violence, but the money is yet to get to all intended beneficiaries.
Mwaka wa 2010 tumepata kusukuma hii maneno hadi mwaka wa 2017 ambapo serikali ilipatia wengine shilingi 50,000 na tukaahidiwa ya kwamba shilingi 150 ziko njiani zinakuja. Na sisi tukiwa wazalendo wa Kenya hii yetu, tuko hapa hii leo kuja kumuuliza His Excellency the President asikie kilio chetu hii leo, maana tumesema mara si moja, mara nyingi sana. Hakuna ofisi ya serikali ambayo hatujaingia, lakini hatujapata haki yetu hadi siku hii ya leo.
Mimi ni mzee wa miaka karibu 80, na mimi kitu nilifanya, sina pahali ya kukaa sasa, sina nini. Tuko wengi wazee kama mimi, tunangojea tu serikali. Tunaona serikali hapana kuja kutuchukua, tukaona msuri afadhali tuje, maana tunajua shamba yetu tulinunuliwa na serikali yetu, lakini hatakuwa na mtu wa kutulete. Tunangojea, tunaona hakuna mtu anakuja kutulete. Sasa tukakuja, na hii shamba ni msuri, ni mnono, iko na hoteli msuri sana ya kulima.
Let's now travel down to the coast, where a section of residents in Malindi town have called on the government and donors to help them in the construction of modern libraries in the metropolis. The locals say the existing library is too small and can no longer accommodate the growing number of readers. The residents have, in the meantime, lauded the Communication Authority of Kenya for donating 12 desktop computers and a software that will enable the visually impaired to read at the library without any difficulties.
The computers have really helped us in our work. It has made it easier for our work, and generally for the users, it has helped in research work. It has helped users in their homeworks.
Initially ulikuwa ukikuja unachukua tu vitabu peke yake, hauwezi kuja kwa kompyuta, lakini kwa sasa unachukua vitabu, na pale ambao unataka clarity ama pale ambao kitabu haelezi, unaingia kwa kompyuta, unaingia kwa mtandao.
At least kama tunaweza kuwa na space kubwa na computers pia ziko vizuri, I think Malindi inaweza badilika upande wa education.
Jaribu pia kuuliza management, mbona vitabu hakuna? Wananiambia finances ndio ni shida.
And Away from that, hundreds of Mbere South residents have benefited from the Huduma Kenya mobile outreach program designed to bring government services closer to the people. Some of the services include free cancer and diabetes screening, among others.
The Huduma Kenya mobile outreach program was initiated to ensure Kenyans access government services at their convenience at the grassroots levels. The caravan has been traversing various locations in Embu County, rendering services to locals. Some of the beneficiaries included boda-boda operators who had turned up for the ongoing registration.
Saizi hapa Keretiri, by saa 6 saizi tumeweza kuwa tumehudumia watu zaidi ya 3,000. Hao ni watu kibao mingi, na by time tuende kufunga leo unaweza fikiria ni watu wangapi tutakuwa tumewaona. Kwa sababu ya kwanza kuna ile nauli ambayo wamekuwa wamesave ya kuenda all the way to Embu Huduma Center. Wengine wanaofia nitaenda pale Huduma Center nikute laini kwa mrefu.
Residents were also screened for diseases such as cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure and eye disorders.
Angalia, kuna wateja wengi wamekuja kwa mahudumu ya hospitali leo, na wale wateja unaona baadhi yao kuna wale wako na miti ya kutembea, na wengi ni kwa sababu ya kuumwa na nyoka. Na hilo ni jambo ambalo pia mimi limenishangaza kwa kuwa nimesikia kuna pia vifo mingi sana imesababishwa na hizi maneno ya nyoka. Unashangaa kwani hatuna antivenom kwa mahospitali zetu ama ni namna gani?
Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
The Cooperative Bank Foundation, in partnership with the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) and the German Development Agency, are training boda-boda riders on safety and basic motorbike repair and maintenance, business skills, ICT and digital literacy. So far, the 3 institutions have trained 1,700 boda-boda riders under the Jenga Riders project launched in July last year, with more set to be trained in coming months. Here are the details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs.
The Coop Bank Foundation, in partnership with the National Transport and Safety Authority and the German Development Agency, have spent 64 million shillings on the Jenga Riders project that has seen 1,700 boda-boda riders trained. Of these, 240 were assisted to attend refresher riding classes in order to be certified as riders by NTSA, issued with licenses and supported to form cooperatives. The latest to be trained was a group from Nairobi region, where 90 boda-boda leaders drawn from all sub-counties were trained. The partners say the next training will be in Meru later this month, focusing on safety and basic motorbike repair and maintenance, business skills, ICT and digital literacy. Meanwhile, at least 790 job seekers with disabilities will receive training to promote inclusivity in the job market. Stanchart Kenya CEO Kariuki Ngari says training in colleges differs from skills required in the job market, a gap that has a bigger impact on the marginalized group. People with disabilities, especially the youth, have lower chances of finding employment than their peers because of discrimination and inaccessible workplaces. Of the 4.4 million Kenyans living with disability, only 33% are employed.
There's going to be a 2-year program that is going to run very 2 years program, and it's going to involve the students being helped how to be ready for the employment world, whether it matters to write their CVs or it matters to do how to show up in an interview. So that's going to help. It's going to be a long way that is going to help them be able to be, as I would call it, employable.
This is something that has really been a block to us. Yes, you have skill, but to get to this employment become very difficult.
Finally, most urban residents are increasingly opting to construct their retirement homes in rural areas mainly due to high cost of land. This has prompted the National Cooperative Housing Union to venture into affordable land investment options, targeting the low and middle income class who are offered a housing plan in its gated community with controlled housing models. The project is tailored to facilitate housing through economies of scale that will see cooperatives and saving groups purchase lands and build houses.
Because we understand the need for Kenyans and clients to have a little bit of information about land processes.
Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Ethiopia is allowing residents to import basic food items such as oil, wheat, sugar, baby milk and rice directly through the Customs Commission without waiting for foreign exchange permits. The move is aimed at addressing the high cost of commodities that has pushed up the rate of inflation. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines from across Africa.
Soaring inflation and shortage of basic commodities in Ethiopia, the government has issued a directive allowing importers of essential foodstuffs such as oil, wheat, sugar, baby milk and rice to use Franco-valuta privileges without waiting for foreign exchange permits and import their items directly through the Customs Commission. Individuals are now at liberty to spend up to $250,000 on importation of food consumables after verifying the source of the forex with the National Bank. Meanwhile, Ugandan authorities have announced a set of new rules to check rampant cattle rustling. Under the new rules, cattle dealers will be required to obtain a written clearance from the veterinary officials and parish chiefs for all animals in transit within the district. The clearance will indicate the area of origin and the telephone contacts of both the original owner and the parish chief of the area. The rules endorsed by both the District Council and the Security Committee also dictate that animals outside the gazetted cattle loading sites will be confiscated by the district security team guided by the District Veterinary Office. Finally, Namibia Financial Institution Supervisory Authority NAMFISA has set 55 as the age at which employees can access their retirement savings. The authority's management says the recommendation to the Minister of Finance is to make it part of law such that when a person retires and is not yet aged 55, they can only get 25% of the amount they have saved. The purpose of the recommendation is to ensure that members grow savings to provide and facilitate a means of income once they retire. Ndutamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
Further afield, the World Bank predicts that Ukraine's economy would shrink by almost half this year as a result of the war with Russia. The bank forecasts that Russia's invasion will cause more economic damage across Eastern Europe and parts of Asia than the coronavirus pandemic. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines from across the globe.
The World Bank says the Russia-Ukraine war has shut half of the country's businesses and slashed exports. Ukraine is the world's biggest exporter of sunflower oil, and the shutdown of the exports has affected global food prices. The World Bank's vice president said Ukraine needed massive financial support immediately. The bank has sent almost $1 billion of assistance to Ukraine so far and has promised a further $2 billion in the coming months. It said the closure of Black Sea shipping from Ukraine had cut off some 90% of the country's grain exports and half of its total exports. The World Bank said the war had made economic activity impossible in large parts of the country, disrupting farming and harvesting operations. Meanwhile, thousands of Sri Lankans have taken to the streets to demand the resignation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The island nation is facing its worst economic crisis since gaining independence from Britain in 1948, highlighted by food shortages, soaring prices and power cuts. Sri Lanka currently cannot afford to pay for imports of staple foods and fuel, leading to acute shortages and very high prices. The government blames the pandemic, which diminished Sri Lanka's tourist trade. However, experts say economic mismanagement is to blame. The economic factor is Sri Lanka chose to focus more on its domestic markets instead of exporting to foreign ones. So income from exports remained low while the bill for imports kept growing. Finally, Elon Musk has decided not to join the board of Twitter, the company's chief executive Parag Agrawal said. Musk's appointment was due to become effective on Saturday after revealing last week that he had bought a 9.2% stake in the social media platform. However, Agrawal tweeted that Elon shared that he will no longer be joining the board. The Tesla's boss remains Twitter's largest shareholder, and the firm will remain open to these inputs. Over the weekend, Musk suggested changes to Twitter Blue Premium subscription service, including slashing its price, banning advertising, and giving the option to pay in cryptocurrency Dogecoin. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
And in sports, Kenya Commercial Bank KCB women's volleyball team has stepped up preparations ahead of the Kenya Volleyball Federation League resumption and the Africa Club Championship slated for May 19th to June 1st in Tunisia. The bankers are aiming to bag the elusive continental title when the championship serves off in Tunisia.
KCB women's volleyball team has played only one league game this season against Vihiga County early this year. Head coach Japheth Mulala has been shaping his side ahead of the league's resumption early next month through friendly matches and intense training sessions. Outside hitter Mercy Moim believes the bankers are ready for the league's return as anticipation has been rising over the federation's uncertain fixture schedule.
I normally say we believe in ourselves. Kama KCB believe in ourselves, kama players na tunajua tunaenda kufanya poa. Nataka niwaambie mafans KCB iko ready na hata tukua disappoint this season. Tunaenda work hard to make sure tumechukua kikombe.
From May 19th to June 1st, the Confederation of African Volleyball CAVB Women's Africa Club Championship is slated for Tunisia's capital Tunis, and Kenya is set to be represented by KCB, reigning Kenyan champions Kenya Prisons, and Kenya Pipeline. Team captain Edith Wisa believes they have what it takes this season to go all the way and claim different titles, including the Kenya Volleyball Federation League title.
Each and every player is psyched up and ready to play well. Putting in mind every person has a chance to play, so everybody has to be prepared. All I can say is that each and every player is very much ready to play and the morale is high.
KCB came close last year, finishing second after losing to our rivals Kenya Prisons.
Boxing team Hit Squad arrived back home last night after finishing second overall at the just concluded Africa Zone 3 Boxing Championship in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Kenyan boxers bagged 17 medals, 6 gold, 5 silver and 6 bronze. Stylish featherweight Samuel Njue, bantamweight Shafi Bakari, light heavy Elizabeth Adiego, welterweight Evelyn Akinyi, flyweight David Karanja and light welter Teresia Wanjiru bagged gold medals for Kenya. Stacey Ayoma, Lorna Kusa, Elizabeth Akinyi and light welter Victor Odhiambo walked away with the silver medals. Defending super heavyweight champion Eli Ajowi and Boniface Mugunde were some of the bronze medalists. The team will now shift focus to the Women's World Championship slated for May in Turkey. Golfers Kanana Mudomi and Mukundi Mudosi emerged the overall winners of the fifth leg of the Safaricom Golf Tour Junior Tournament held at the Par 72 Machakos Golf Club. Mudomi, who is 12 years old, carded a total of 38 points to emerge the best girl, while 15-year-old Mudosi, a student at the Aga Khan Academy, carded a gross of 84 points to emerge the overall boys winner. Claiming the boys 15 and above title was Njue Mathu with a gross of 86 points ahead of Mogambi Kimathi, who garnered 91 points. Kelsey Mbogwa won the girls 15 years and above category, while Tesha Wamaida finished second. The Machakos Tour taking part. The next leg of the Safaricom Golf Tour heads to Eldoret Golf Club.
But with the rest of the clubs, I was good.
I had many issues in my putting and my chipping, but in the end, I was able to come and win. And I would like to say I thank Machakos for holding the competition, and I would like to continue playing more Safaricom Tour events.
And that report wraps up KBC Lunchtime News on this Monday afternoon. I wish you a very fruitful week ahead. And remember, the limits are not in the skies, but in the mind. Have a good one. My name is Njue, and Susan Thuku has been our sign language interpreter for this live bulletin. Of course, you can check out our website. That is www.kbc.co.ke for more of this, plus much more. And of course, on our social media spaces as well, including our KBC app. Thank you so much for watching. Do have yourself a blessed Monday afternoon.
Cosmetics paid me $10 million in advances. If I fail to find a new guarantor, they'll end the contract with me.
Let it be then. If you can't handle it, leave it then.
Tell me right now. I want the whole truth. Apart from tricking my mother into becoming the president, what more have you done?
Shame on you!
What are you doing?
How dare you! How dare you attack my son!
Soul Generation's band Soul started off the live experience. Color Festival, Festival of Colors or Holy Festival, is an ancient Hindu festival celebrating good over evil, springtime, love, and of course, colors.
It was more than a collaboration, it was like a bridge that we built, for African music.
Shihua Cosmetics paid me $10 million in advances. If I fail to find a new guarantor, they'll end the contract with me.
Let it be then. If you can't handle it, leave it then.
Tell me right now. I want the whole truth. Apart from tricking my mother into becoming the president, what more have you done?
Shame on you!
What are you doing?
How dare you! How dare you attack my son!
And I'm never coming back again, I'm sorry.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Divididos por una sombra de traición.
You expect me to call you Dad? You want me to pretend that nothing happened? No, I don't.
If I were you, I wouldn't hesitate to tell her who you are, Antonio.
My mother married you against her will because my grandparents pressured her.
No, that is not true.
I'm having your baby, Fabricio.
Your brother Daniel is alive.
What?
Lying heart. Pues sembrando el veneno y la ambición.